All right, so this is the Goob Squad. This is Sean, Apollo, Carlos, D. All right, cool. Everybody introduced. Excellent. We're up episode 10. Our current topic is a genre of media. It could be any type of media um, that you don't particularly like in that genre, but for some reason, a particular IP, like movie or show or whatever series, you are willing to make that an exception. But otherwise, you'd be pretty like, ew, that genre, I'm never gonna touch that. But yeah, so
I
I'll start off because since I was the one that came up with the one because I already have one in mind. Mine's is musicals for like movies
Mm.
or whatever. Musicals in general to me are just like hear musical and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna watch that.
How dare you say
Yeah.
that, you uncultured swine?
Yeah, I am. I really am. It's
No,
disgusting.
I totally agree with the musical thing.
It's just I don't know. Like I think my experience with like Phantom of the Opera was pretty bad because I was like really young, and you know how like I would blame it on my age. I was just like I couldn't sit still, and it was just like
Sure.
boring to me.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah.
did you like watch the movie of Phantom of the Opera, or did you like actually go to watch the
By the way,
play
I
of the
still
Phantom
don't like
of
it.
the
I'm just saying like that was an
Opera? No,
example
yeah,
of why I don't like the genre. But I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
it in the like the actual like I guess the opera house, and then
Oh, the actual play.
yeah, the actual play, and then there was other things that like people wanted me to come with them, and I was like, musicals, anything
Uh,
on stage didn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
get that.
so
I was
that's
gonna.
like where it started. But then I would say as a young kid, I saw Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and like the original like, or I would say original quote unquote, but yeah, uh, the one with oh shoot, what's his
You
name?
mean Willy Wonka?
Yeah,
With
yeah,
Gene
Willy Wonka.
Wilder?
Yeah, Willy Wonka. Yes,
Yeah, yeah. Not the Tim Burton one.
not the Tim Burton one. Yes, it's
I
the
was
one
gonna
with
say.
Gene Wilder in it,
It's like that. That's what you gravitated to?
right?
I know. It's like,
He's like, I ain't
back
gonna judge you, but I'm judging you.
I was just gonna
The
say.
character was Johnny Depp before he was Willy Wonka.
And next, you were gonna say, "Oh, Batman and Robin is the best Batman movie out there."
Hey, that could be the thumbnail. You just I'll have the two Willy Wonkas right there, and with me going all like, like with a strange face of like, I like that one. Which one do I like?
credit card.
But yeah, the Gene Wilder one for sure was the one for me.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
it's a fucking
that's-
classic.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not typically into musicals either, but that movie, yeah, I mean, I watched that movie all the time as a kid, and yeah, there's just something about. I mean, I think it's just Gene Wilder's magnetism, honestly. Like, I kind of watch anything he's in or anything he was in, like, is just high quality in my opinions, and he was just such a comedic genius. So I definitely, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And
So
it's
yeah.
kind of, yeah, no, it's unfortunate that Tim Burton felt the need to remake it, and kind of.
Yeah.
I respect Tim Burton as a filmmaker, but he's you know
I mean, it's been a while.
he has hit and misses, and yeah, it's been a while since he's done anything really worth watching, honestly.
Yeah, so I would rewatch that movie.
What's
a
your
lot.
favorite part of Willy Wonka? Like, what's your favorite scene or song from that movie?
I mean, again, it wasn't so much the song and stuff like that, but definitely the tunes of it. I love them because they're hilarious and they're like
Yeah.
all teaching some sort of like funny lesson.
It's also pretty dark. Like
Yeah.
it's more dark than I think we realized as kids.
Yeah.
But as an adult watching it, it's just like he's like killing these
Yeah,
children.
he's killing
Like,
these
I was
kids,
gonna say,
you know?
that's my
That's
favorite
the
part about the
funny part.
movie.
about it.
yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
child murder.
It's hilarious how like you have these really archetypal characters and it's just like a lesson as a kid. I liked it for
Yeah.
those and the fact that Oompa Loompas are just making these really ridiculous like dances and singing.
Yeah.
to what would be normally a horrible thing. It's like this kid's
Right.
being sucked into a giant tube of chocolate.
Or Violet Beauregard
something.
turning into a giant fucking blueberry and being rolled away.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
that
amazing.
opened up a different can of worms. I don't think there was fear involved with that, but well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
I forget the one with Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. Like, what were? I don't even. I'm pretty sure I
Tim Burton
watched it.
one?
Yeah, the one Tim Burton one. But
I
what would
barely.
you say are, like the
They-
main differences between it? Because I can't even remember it.
The main
It's
difference
pretty
from what I
forgettable.
remember, the only thing that I remember specifically was more like his journey as a whatever he is now, or like.
Oh
Like
right,
he
it
would
does
they go-
focus
yeah,
more on
like-
Willy Wonka himself rather than
right.
Charlie.
There's some flashbacks and shit like that.
Right. Oh yeah, and he was like the son of a dentist or whatever.
Yeah, it
That
kind
was
of
weird. It was
really
unnecessary backstory there, honestly.
yeah,
Like he was
understand that.
better as like a character steeped in mystique, you know, like a Boba Fett-esque
Exactly.
character, where it's just like we don't know why this guy's doing what he's doing, but he's weird.
Here's the
and-
funny thing: it's called Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, and it has.
Well, the book is called Charlie in
Yeah,
the
but
Chocolate
that's the
Factory,
thing,
but then
it started
yeah.
going more on his story, which was like, I thought, you know, like it's kind of weird. Like, it really didn't. It went too far with Wonka, where
Yeah.
the implication is that we're getting more of a deeper story with Charlie, which was funny because in this one, in the old one, the Gene Wilder one, it's called Willy Wonka, but which is why I get confused with it all the time.
Yeah, it is confusing. Yeah.
Because it's like called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but
But
yet
it focuses on Charlie.
on Charlie. So,
Right.
which I think was better, anyways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, honestly, just remembering those titles, it just hit me like of the irony of that you know, the new version focuses more on Willy Wonka, whereas the original that's like focuses more on Charlie himself. Like just that irony just like hit me like
Just
yeah,
now,
as soon
right.
as I was just
Yeah.
now,
I feel like the newer one, like the Tim Burton one, it feels a little too sterile. Like it feels like kind of clean.
Mm.
Yes.
Whereas the old one, like it feels like the Chocolate Factory is kind of a dump. Like it's kind of like it's kind of broken down, and it feels like this isn't the most like sanitary place to be like making chocolate,
Right.
but like it works. Like it's sort of the same thing with Willy Wonka himself, the way that Gene Wilder portrays him versus the way that Johnny Depp portrays him. Johnny Depp almost feels his version feels like I mean he is hiding something, but he from the jump like feels like he has a mask on, whereas like Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka is more like, I mean, this is what you get. Like, this is like what you see is what you get. I don't really care. Like,
Yeah,
whatever's gonna
he
happen
really
to you is gonna
doesn't
happen
care.
to you, and whoever is left is gonna get the factory. That's it. Like,
Right.
he was sort of disconnected from the jump, which I like, because he's sort of almost already burnt out by the world, and that's why he stays in his like factory all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I just enjoyed that way more. And you have the creepy cinematography as well of the old one, where it's like I don't remember what the dude's name is, but like the
Slugworth.
dude in the alley,
Slugworth,
like
Slugworth.
where
Yep.
yeah, where
Yeah.
like after Charlie gets the golden ticket and like the dude's just like showing up in back alleys and
With
shit.
a
He's
scar on his
fucking
face.
weird.
Yeah. With a scar on his face and everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
now that you mention back eyes, I could just imagine, you know, some guy with a bunch of candy in his skull is like, "Hey kid, do you want some lollipops?" Opens it up.
Mr. Wonka, I work for you.
Oh god.
But yeah, that's mine's. Anybody anybody want to chime in on their media? But
I was
Makes an
just going
exception.
to start talking, but you know, just one more thing to say about that. You know, the original Willy Wonka. It's just like the difference of cinematography between, you know, movie made in the 70s versus, you know, nowadays.
right.
Sure.
Just that, like you mentioned, Apollo. Like there's this sort of grittiness to it, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I think also because like it plays on the industrial like classism and the issues of the industrial age. So it plays into that. And then I think it had stronger themes. Like, to me, it had stronger themes and you had something to kind of take away from it at the end of the movie.
But yeah, that's sort of that's like, it goes back to what I was saying about the movie, about Tim Burton's version feeling a bit too clean. Like, even in like Charlie's like house, like it looks like, it doesn't necessarily look too impoverished. And you look at like his mother, like, who's played by Helena Bonham Carter, and she like has like perfect teeth and stuff in the movie, and I'm like, this is not even, like, it's not congruent across the board, like, in terms of the theme they're going for. So it just feels a little off. Whereas the old one was grungy, and like all four of the grandparents were like sharing a bed, and it was like fucking weird. It felt like a little hovel. So it worked better. But yeah.
It just kind of reminds me of like, the focus is more on Charlie himself and just how much he's not really. He's a child who's, humble, who comes from like a poor beginnings and stuff, and I think that's kind of a theme that just from that era himself, that there was some sort of like, I don't know, dignity to being in the poor strata of society, being living, coming from like humble beginnings. Like, I don't really feel like that's a theme that we ever even touch around anymore, whereas that's something that was like very prevalent of the era.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think nowadays, like, the topics that kind of happen in movies is still has the classism in it, but this in our current stuff, it's not the same or treated the same. Whereas there's like a clear like rich versus poor or something like that situation, it's more like that there's still a lot more gray area between the two. I mean, and the only reason why I bring that up is probably like, movies like what we've experienced was what was that Korean film again? It won a lot of awards recently. Parasite. Yeah, Parasite.
Parasite, yeah.
Yeah. Parasite, and then there.
Great movie.
Yeah, it was really good, really good. Parasite, and Knives Out, I think it was. Yeah, Knives Out, I think.
Yeah.
That was
such a fun movie.
Yeah, another good one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then see what there's another.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a little bit more finesse when it comes to sort of going after those issues in cinema these days, which I appreciate.
Yeah,
but but there is something to be said about movies like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory that did it a little bit more straightforward, but at the same time there's something lost by not doing it that way anymore. But I don't necessarily want to go back to that time in terms of like,
I don't think
I like that cinema is going. I like that cinema is progressing in terms of. I mean, in some ways, in terms of like displaying its themes and sort of
generating the topics, or how to tackle the topic. Also, what was it called? What is it called? Us. There we go. That was another one that deals with.
Oh yeah.
In
also,
a very,
yeah.
very
also
weird
good.
way. It's a weird way, but it's you think about it, it makes sense.
Assos that was the one directed by
Jordan Peele.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the one that was like. Okay. Yes. You're right.
Yeah, with the doubles of the family.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually like that movie a lot more than I liked Get Out. We've discussed Get Out, I think, a little bit off air before, but I liked Get Out, but it was the sort of twist of the movie was a little too on the nose for me. Like the whole brain transplant thing. Just
Yeah,
like
that
a
was
little too on the nose.
Really goofy.
Also, it doesn't. Hey man, it works if you don't think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that
for sure.
too. Exactly.
100%. Yeah, I agree that. It's not you don't think, just go with it.
Yeah,
just ignore that.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I like the social commentary before that in terms of like the auctioning and all that stuff. But once you got to the actual crux of the movie with that twist, it sort of broke down for me. But Us, I thought was a lot better, and I thought it was from start to finish like just a
That's funny
more
because
enjoyable movie.
that's funny because overall it's like the one that's regarded the least likable. Like I think definitely people
Yeah.
like Get Out more.
Oh
than
yeah,
Us.
for sure, for sure.
And I think
Oh,
that
yeah?
it's because
Oh, I see.
also Get Out
Yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot easier to understand because it really followed the same
Yeah,
type of like thriller formula with just
Right.
a little bit of like the Twilight Zone thing, sprinkle
Right.
at the end.
yeah.
Whereas Oz is the whole movie is like that, and there's like too many plot twists at the end where people
Well,
are.
it's funny with Us. Like I saw sort of, I guess, the main twist of like the mom being like not the mom but the double
Mhm.
the whole time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I saw that twist coming a mile away, but I still enjoyed it. Like it didn't ruin it
It
for
didn't
me or
ruin it.
anything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that.
Well,
yeah.
he really excels in that Twilight Zone kind of aspect
He
of the
does.
stories, you know. So he really owns that, and I think like whenever I see anything that's coming out from him, you're always gonna get that sense. And the really funny part is that he hosts. Doesn't he host?
The Twilight
Everyone?
Zone.
Yeah,
He produces it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then now he's doing what's it, Lovecraft something?
Oh, Lovecraft Country. Yeah.
Yes, Lovecraft Country. Why is it hard for me to say that?
I thought he had also made like a revival of the Twilight Zone. No,
Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
That's what we were
I
saying.
totally missed that. Can we watch it somewhere? Is that in?
It's on. I think it's on CBS. You can do like the CBS All Access thing, the trial for that. That's what I do to watch like the new Star Trek series.
Ah.
Just get the trial and then yeah.
Oh,
There's not
yeah.
really anything else worth watching on CBS. So.
I was going to say I don't want to pay for it. I just want to watch it.
Yeah,
if it ever
true.
comes to Netflix or Hulu or all the other 10,000 goddamn streaming services that I have,
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Exactly. There's so many out there, and they're like it's becoming saturated.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's like the battle royale genre in games, where it's just like there's so many of them, but like you're not gonna. It's very rare that you're gonna be able to break the ceiling on something like Fortnite or even Apex, which is much smaller. But like those are like the top, and it's really hard to like make something new,
Right.
especially because everybody wants to do battle royale these days, and obviously Warzone.
Yes.
You know. It's honestly annoying because I we play battle royales all the time, like Sean Carlos and I especially, and like it's fun, but at the same time I think we've all been saying this for like a long time now. Like I really am dying for a really good traditional multiplayer game. It's been a long time since like we've had just a new fun like Titanfall 2-esque like really fun dynamic traditional multiplayer. Like it's been a while.
Right. It's just more of a match. You get into the fight and you just like can leave it. You don't have to like commit like a whole 15 minutes of trying to gather the right loot to even be competitive against the people who are fighting it. It's funny.
D, do you have any? Do you want to go next with that topic?
I don't know, I thought it was going to go like third or something. But, I mean, sure, I could dive into that still. It's like, I'm just going to go back to video games. I'm not crazy about sports titles. I'm really not. Though,
Yeah.
I will say that I don't mind arcadey sports games. So, it's not that I particularly like the game series, but I can actually appreciate NBA Jam for what it was, because it was just arcadey street hoops, and you had all these wacky physics like jump shit. So there have been successors to it, and I haven't played any of the 3D successors. Closest I played, and this is only because EA snagged the rights to the damn IP, but NBA Streets was the closest to them kind of doing an NBA Jam without being NBA Jam. It was okay. Again, These are games that I haven't played on my own volition, but have played because of a friend or family member, and then I just found that I kind of tolerate them. Honestly, I just like arcade sports in general, and I think the best representative of that has been uh, Unio, the River City series
Oh yeah.
sports games.
Oh yeah.
So playing games like Super Dodgeball, I like a lot of variations of Super Dodgeball. My personal favorite one, I want to say it's the Game Boy Advance, but I spent a lot of time playing the Neo Geo one, which kind of has fighting game mechanics in it. Uh, the one thing I don't like is that everybody just keeps countering too easily. But generally, if people could just take anything in the sports genre and make it somewhat playable or tolerable, I gotta say, even as a Mario fan, I spent more time with Kunio-kun than I have with Mario in terms of arcade sports. And Mario games have run the gamut on cartoony ass sports games, so I should know. Like, nah, I gotta go with Kunio on this because I know everybody likes their Mario Strikers and stuff. I didn't really play Mario Strikers as much as I played like Nintendo World Cup or Kunio Soccer. It's like, sorry, it was
Yeah,
just
I don't think I've ever played Mario Strikers actually.
Oh, yeah. It's like I didn't have enough time to master it, but I can tell that I wasn't too fond of the controls in that. I know some people like that and say like, oh, it was badass because the intro and look at how all the characters are acting when they lose, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's fine. Blame my goddamn Kuya. So whatever. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I mean, Konami also had some good sports games too in the NES era. Like they have Blades of Steel and they had roller games. It's like, yeah, I mean, not your average sports game, but or use sports as a setting, but yeah, I mean,
Speaking
there
of
it is.
soccer games, did you ever play Rocket League?
I was just gonna say that. That's how I like because I'm not into like sports games or racing games. Not that Rocket League is a racing game, but you play as a car. And like I really love that game.
Oh,
I platinum that game. Like it's really great. Yeah, it's I don't really like soccer or any sort of
how
like
controversial in this.
I know.
I mean, you would be crucified if you went to El Salvador and you said that. Trust me, from experience. There's a reason I live in the United States now.
I mean, even the U.S. people are starting to gravitate towards soccer now. They're like, we've always been fans. Like, no, you haven't. What are you talking about? That's definitely not true.
That's funny.
But I mean, it is the most popular sport on earth, so I suppose there's something to it. But yeah, I mean, like I agree, D. Like I'm not in the sports games, but I do like the arcadiness of something like Rocket League. And it's one of those games where it's super easy to pick up, but man, they have pro tier Rocket League, and the way those players play is amazing.
Fucking insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They really do ridiculous things. They're like, how are you even doing that?
Yeah.
I don't think I have enough fingers, nor do they twist in those directions for me to be able to do that.
No, I could never do any of that stuff. But that's the thing. Like, even as a beginner, you can have hours and hours of fun with it. So it's pretty awesome.
One thing I really like about that game is that it really feels like playing the sports in the sense that, I played soccer back in my days before I was exiled for not liking soccer in El Salvador. And the thing about it is that the ball doesn't always do what you want it to do. You want it to hit it so that it goes left and it goes right.
Yeah, and you have to and you also have to be super coordinated with your teammates. Like you have to play offense and defense, and you got to rotate like at the perfect times and stuff. Like it is very much like soccer. Like it really does work that same way. Or really any sport, even basketball or something. Knowing, like I used to watch sports and play sports when I was a kid and when I was younger, and like just knowing when to rotate is sort of you have to learn how to do that, and learn the right timing for that, and that alone can really up your game, and make it like so when you play online, you're actually not getting your ass kicked every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I really do just love that aspect about Rocket League. Just like your fight against physics itself. The
Yeah,
fact that they just don't always, like I'm reiterating here, just the fact that they just don't always do what you want them to do.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And that's where all the boosts and stuff come in, right? Where you have to. That's another part of the game where like there are like boosts on the field that if you hit them at the right time, you'll get. You're. It's called Rocket League because you're a rocket car. So you go over there, and if you boost too fast, then you'll miss the ball, or you'll hit the ball in the wrong direction, or like because it's like a cylindrical arena, the ball doesn't just hit a corner and bounce off. Like it'll roll up the ceiling, and like you can go up the ceiling. And it's just like there's a lot of different. It's super simple, but there's so many different angles that you have to consider when you're going for the ball, or when you're rotating, or
you
defending
can be
the
super
goal, or
offensive
whatever.
too, like smash yourself into another.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. The collisions, you can blow up other cars, which is awesome. There's no weapons in the game, but you can boost into another car and totally destroy them.
Yeah, from experience, I can tell you that's also another, maybe not so great a strategy that someone I know may have not taken to take out people's chins. When I used to play soccer.
You're like, I hate this guy. I'm going after them. He doesn't even have the ball.
That's the goalie. I know. I hate that guy.
I'm gonna put a fucking rock. I'm gonna put a lit firecracker on the toe of my shoe and just kick the shit out of this guy's shins and just completely blow him off. That's the equivalent of what's Rocket League in real life.
I think something about I'm not really into sports games, but I would be willing to play sports games that really just blow the reality out, because it's so boring just playing a sports game that isn't zany. So I agree. I played a little bit of like Mario Strikers. I remember that just because stylistically, like I was like, sports game, but then I'm like, that looks kind of fun looking, and it was just goofy. I like that whole like it's kind of that comic booky kind of look with all the hash lines and stuff like that. I mean, I thought that was cool, just visually. But I didn't really get too into it either myself, so I can't really only say so much about it. I do have to say, too, we were talking about Battle Royales being oversaturated. Fall Guys have a mode, or one of the mini games in there. It reminds me a lot about, like, Rocket League. Like, everything that you're talking about, like, the physics not going the way that you expect it to. And then on top of that, like, knowing when to kind of harass the other side or play defense. Is a lot like how there actually like literally is like multiple, like I think 2 mini games in that game where it's a lot like Rocket League without the boost, but like just soccer. I think the most fun one is the trio one where it's 3 teams and you're like trying to knock the soccer balls into your own goal, like into your own, and you're supposed to keep it to get the points. So you can play like, oh, I'm going to get the ball and bring it to us. Or you could play it like, oh, I'm just going to grief one of the teams and just like assist to get not to defend against putting the balls in their area. So it's kind of like, it's fun because it's like you could play the game where you're not in it for scoring. You're in it there to piss other people off, which is really, really funny. And then there's an actual kind of soccer game where it's just 2 teams, and they got 2 balls in the middle of the arena, and you got to get it into each other's goal, which is very basic soccer-esque, except it's just 2 balls. And yes, the physics in it is sometimes you jump and you end up knocking the ball into your team when you don't mean to, or your team is like just like thinking that they're helping you, but they're really fucking you up. Like that's essentially what it is. It's really funny. But yeah, I agree.
I saw someone was pissed off because Fall Guys has a metagame way too early, and it's like the thing is that you have a game that's just easy to pick up and play, it's fun for a lot of people. So you can pretty much make up your own, not like make up your own rules about how you play, but it's easy for people to find a play style the more intuitive a game is to play, which is why I like those kind of arcadey sports games. The problem I have with simulation type sports games is it's like they're more for sports fans than they are for gamers. I'm not saying if you're a gamer you can't be both, because that no one is the boss of reality. I'm simply saying, like, if you're not a fan of sports and you're not invested into like teams or particular athletes, it's easy to pick up something that isn't tied to a license and has like crazy ass physics. Yes, NBA Jam has real life players, but it also has shit like Bill Clinton and all that, where you could just yeah, they play, but they like it's as a joke. You could have Scorpion on the shit. So it's like it's not like they're going to be married to reality that much. And
yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with racing simulators, right? With like Gran Turismo or Forza, where it's like this isn't really it's not that accessible. It's more for like it's more of a niche thing where like if you're really into racing and you know the how the engine of this car works or how like aerodynamic this car works, then you're going to be at a huge advantage to someone who's just coming in like, oh man, I like Mario Kart, so this must be fun for me too, right? And it's like it's not the same thing at all. Like
it isn't, because most racing games show the importance of braking, and I'm not talking about it only took them like 1825. It took them like a couple of decades before they realized, hey, this engine class course makes you want to do braking more. No, I'm talking about like braking is the bread and butter of most simulation racing games, because like you gotta carry your speed on those turns, and then just like, okay, this is where you wet up again. It's like, and those games are fine, especially if you have one of those steering wheel controllers, which kind of does drive the whole simulation aspect home. I'm just saying that kind of racing game isn't going to be necessarily for people who are into Mario Kart and just want to pick up something fast and go.
Right, it's more for the enthusiast who's into it outside of games, and then they come into it and they're like, oh, this is I know how to play this because I know the sport, or I know like how the racing works.
Yeah, I mean, I have lots of memories playing games like Sega Rally Championship on my PC and fucking like World Racing. Like, what was it, that N64 one, World Racing Championship, which was I think it was kind of like a rally, World Rally. But, you know, I played some standard sports like racing simulation games, and I haven't had any hard feelings about them. I actually don't mind the racing genre, or I don't mind picking up and playing the racing genre, because a lot of racing games have some very stunning visuals. It's not something I would pick up at home. But I don't mind playing it if someone else has the game. But generally, I just go for something I could just pick up and play like 5 to 10 minutes without knowing the ins and outs of when to break and turn and all that shit. So it's like, a lower learning curve. It just makes things more accessible to me.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, then like those racing games, it's like what you were saying, D. Like I'm not crazy about them. I definitely prefer something like Mario Kart. But like they are fun. Like if you have one of those steering wheels, or if like one of the main things I go to in arcades is those type of games. Like if you have a sit down cabinet with that, like it's a lot of fun. Like that's definitely one of the draws of like mini arcade places to me. So yeah, there's definitely a place for that for sure.
Interesting. You know, I'm gonna go for those kind of games. Like I'm not really drawn to too many racing games other than casual things like Mario Kart. But like, and I haven't bought a I haven't bought a Need for Speed game in a very long time. But I used to really like that series back in the GameCube era.
Yeah.
Like I just really like the perfection of just taking those of just drifting perfectly. It was just like doing something over and over, but knowing that you're gonna do it better the next time around.
Right.
But yeah, I would say that Need for Speed is definitely the more arcadey of all those racing games.
Yeah.
Unlike games like Forza Motorsport or the Cars project nowadays, they tend to gear more towards the simulation side of the genre.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely just like the more arcadey type of games.
What about
In fact-
stuff like Kinetica? Do you guys remember Kinetica?
No, what is that?
That was a fucking
Kind
weird
of like
game.
Extreme G, isn't it?
Was it called
Kinetica?
Extreme G? I don't
Oh,
know.
shit.
Extreme G,
Extreme
like that
G.
air bike racing game.
Yes, I remember Extreme G.
Oh,
That was for
that.
Nintendo 64, right?
Yeah, so it was a futuristic racing game. Talking about
Yeah.
Kinetica, futuristic
Put that in
racing
the
game.
arcade.
They had those suits.
Yeah, it was like they're like sledders almost, but like they have wheels on their arms and legs.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's
Huh.
a big game.
I think that was in PlayStation 1. Something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, see, that would have been my problem. I honestly never had a PlayStation.
Wait, are you
PlayStation
talking
3.
about Wipeout or are you talking about Kinetica?
I think maybe I mixed. Oh wait, Wipeout was the one. Wipeout had vehicles.
Wipeout's the one with the air sleds where it's kind of F-Zero-ish, but it's not really. And Kinetica was one
Kinetica
where
is-
they have the suits kind of like
Yeah,
the Extreme
suits.
G cars.
So the suits, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
PS2.
The Kinetica was the one with the suits and they have wheels on their arms and legs.
I'm looking
Yeah,
at it
that,
again.
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. And then there was and that was weird. But I
yeah.
remember Wipeout. Wipeout, that was pretty fun. I played that on the PC, I think.
Yeah, it still gets updates and stuff.
Yeah.
Why hasn't that sport been invented? Kinetica. You just turn yourself into a motorcycle.
I don't know.
I love the illustrations because I'm looking at them right now, and one of them is they're all basically girls with like wheels on the arms and legs, but they're still like in bikinis.
Of course.
It
You think
was
they're gonna
a
have
secret time.
Ah,
what protection do you need in a scantily clad bikini? Come on.
yeah. What's the worst that can happen? Road rash
Skin.
at like 200 miles an hour.
It's so funny. It's
Road
I guess
rash.
it's so old I can't even look it up on Pinterest for crying out loud.
I'm looking it up on Google Images.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
want to look
looks-
up the pictures though. I mean, I already looked it up on Google, but it's kind of funny that Pinterest can't even find anything.
It's before their time, I guess.
I guess so.
I mean, the whole concept is that they're supposed to be motorcycles, but they just
But they're people.
but they're people. Yeah.
Yeah. And they could do tricks while they're
That must be some mad, some really strong abs right there to just keep yourself straight for like a whole race.
yeah, for reals, right?
I'm sure the terror helps.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying the whole time.
and you know that they're all like, "Oh man, that perspective just looking at looking behind all the time." Yeah, some of these images too are just like you literally have like screws for nipples. How ridiculous.
I mean, that's the most important part. If Batman and Robin is anything to go by.
This is like, yeah, some racing dudes totally like they're like, rad, yeah. What if you got those what are those, like those models all the time next to the car and stuff, like, what if you combine the two?
Yeah.
It's essentially what it is. Oh, I like somebody put a picture of the Big Hero 6, one of the characters. Remember her? If you've seen that animation, one of the characters has the
Go-Go.
wheels. Mm-hmm. Somebody put an image next to Connecticut with that. That's
Big
funny.
Hero 6. Ah, yeah, you can remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, one of the heroes in there. She had the wheels on her arms and legs or something. Use it as discs. That's
Yeah,
funny.
they had the same vibe. They had the same vibe. Except, you can't really see in a TNA for some reason in a Disney movie.
Yeah, they were like, nope, nope, we're not pointing. He was like, let's put the
Can't sell
screws
toys
on
with TNA.
the nipples. Disney was like, no, no.
I mean, you can, but you shouldn't.
We're not gonna sexualize these kids. That's what the Disney Channel is for.
Bad idea. So
A
off
little
topic,
too-
actually, did you hear about this? You know that movie Troll?
Oh, yeah, I know
Do you know
exactly
where, you know
you're
where
going
I'm
with
going to go
this
with
one.
this? Do you want me to talk about it, or do you want to talk about it?
Yeah,
is
go
funny.
on. It's fine.
So there's a toy that came out for Trolls.
Oh god.
And for some reason, during the entire process, they designed it with a button for the character's butt. It's directly like in between the legs. So if you set the character down, you can press it down and it will make sound effects with the button. But the button is right there, like we're talking the gooch area. Yeah. And what's worse is that the button, when you press it, she goes, ooh, ah, and stuff like that. Really, really freaking suggestive. And the logic is that she was supposed to make sounds when you put her down on the platform. But why put the button there?
Because it makes sounds.
I know, it's stupid.
Yeah.
They couldn't put the fucking the button and the sound effect on the platform itself. And it was worse than that too. The packaging does not explain that function at all. At all. So like
So it comes as a shock to parents when they found that out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody course corrected that idea.
Some really disappointed dad is out there like, who is making those sex sounds? I know it's not your mom. Hasn't done those in years.
Probably you notice that there's a lot of teenage boys, and some audiences are, well, young adults, and we figure maybe they might buy the toys too.
Now that is a surprise mechanic.
Dude, I wonder if they're gonna find out who came up with that idea and then like fire them.
Hasbro manufactures the toys too, so they know to cash in on the brony market. I wouldn't put this past them. And
my god!
I know Trolls is kind of a license, so maybe it was a harmless oversight where they just wanted it to interact that way when they sit it down. But
yeah,
they didn't say anything about that
definitely
function is still pretty sus.
Yeah, that is sus, right? Like the fact that it's not even advertised on the packaging itself. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, yeah. Aside from that,
could you like find images of that and like put it on the stream?
Sure.
I mean, if you want that.
I don't know. I just have a hard time imagining it. Maybe that's
The
for the
listeners
best
can
on it.
look it up themselves.
And I tried to look it up just now, and I'm like, okay, I can't really find that.
Okay, how about this? I'll let you know about. There's a video that of another like YouTubers that go over this news. And but right now, right now the news is what's happening is that families are actually trying to sue because of this, or do a petition or something. For that reason of
so it's still pretty recent. Like this doesn't happen like years ago. This was like a few months ago at the most.
Yeah, I would say so. But I'll show you the YouTubers that they talk about it.
Oh, okay.
They talk about random shit like that. Well, not like that, but like random news that are kind of like weird and like
there's hypersensitive parents who are like, how dare these toy manufacturers not make toys that raise my children well?
Well,
someone's got to raise them, but it ain't gonna be me.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of would side on somebody being sus on that. I mean, that's a really weird place to put the button and a really weird sound effect to happen, and really even weirder that it's not even.
But I mean, is that a hill worth dying on? Like,
I guess. I mean,
just fucking buy another toy, or don't fucking, or maybe look at the fucking toy before you buy it for your kid. Maybe. Like, even if it's not on the package, like I'm sure you can fucking see it through the fucking package.
I think. Well, from the
Or how
from what I
about this?
saw
How
in the
about this?
package-
In this day and age where everything's on the internet, why don't you look it up on the internet
Right.
before you fucking buy it?
Right.
Exactly.
Apollo, you're asking too much of parents. They used
I know.
parents literally buy, GTA for their, 9,
Oh, I know.
10-year-olds. It's just
For sure.
thing.
Yeah. I mean.
It says on the packaging, drugs, sexuality. It's rated R for 17. Oh, it's
Yeah.
good for
Yeah.
TV.
I mean, don't make no mistake. I'm not blaming the parents here, but it's like it's really extraordinarily easy to be well informed about this type of thing. Like it's kind of hard to
Well-
be in the dark about it unless you're actively trying to.
Well, I mean, like,
Avoid
okay,
it.
to be clear, like, again, I'm saying that it wasn't on the package. The function wasn't in
Yeah.
the package. No one knew
Well,
about
I
it.
understand. Why? No, that's what I mean. Like that's why you look it up online.
Sure,
like-
I guess. I am definitely on the side that it shouldn't have never been there at all. Like, that's just really weird to have a
I
girl's
agree.
toy.
I
like,
agree, but I don't. Yeah, I
for,
don't know
like,
if it's
kids that are
worth
7 and
petitioning.
younger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, no, yeah, you're
I
right.
actually
Like,
agree with them
You
petitioning.
shouldn't be able
against-
to, like, touch, a troll's button for it to go like, ah!
No, it's like not just the bun. It's right there at the. It's pretty much just the vaginal area. It's right.
Sure.
Like
Ah.
it's the entire area, like the whole
Not
the
even subtle.
surface of the butt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but
Yeah.
the packaging is that the character is either standing or sitting. So like you like how
And it's
you,
not a see. It's I assume it's not a see-through package.
you only see the figure. You don't see it
Well,
like in 360 or under it or whatever.
Well, I mean, is it a normal like toy package where they're just standing up and it's
There's-
like a see-through
Well,
package?
you can't reach into it, so you can see it.
Well, yeah,
see
I
the
know,
character.
but like, is it a normal package where they're just standing and it's a totally clear thing, and if you just look at it at a certain angle, you can see the button?
You won't be
Or
able
is
to
it,
see
can
the
you
button.
not see it?
You can't see it at all. You have to buy it to actually see it, because then you would have to bend it over to actually press the button. I'm not joking. Like, this is they have a video on
you
that.
just have to bend over to give the troll a little orgasm.
Ugh.
This podcast is going in the way wrong direction over here.
Yeah, it is.
It's perfect for the thumbnail.
I know, seriously. Oh,
Oh my god. But yeah, it's weird.
Mhm.
But it's funny that like bringing it back to the Disney and making sure that everything is, not saying is associated, but in the same genre of like it's meant for kids, and they very hardcore curate their stuff, try and not let those things pass, and yet we have somebody like DreamWorks who hires Hasbro to make the toys, and the Hasbro's, I'm pretty sure they're pretty vetted in terms of like their process, and it's amazing that whole thing just kind of just slipped over their head.
Yeah.
we should really do research into what other wholly inappropriate toys have been made for kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's a long list.
Remember that episode? Wait, what's it in Family Guy where Peter makes like a dildo?
Oh yeah.
He tries to
yeah.
market
Mr.
it for
Zucchini
kids.
hit.
It's vibrated. I'm sorry.
Please
Oh
stop
my
words.
god.
Back in the old days when Family Guy used to be funny.
It was a long time ago.
So,
All right. So who else
guess
is
we're gonna
left?
go for the next topic. Oh yeah, is there somebody left?
I think that's okay. I think that is it. So yeah.
I mean, I didn't
genre-
say mine. Did you say yours, Carlos?
I did say, yeah, that's what I meant. I did say it, sort of. I meant
The
to say
racing thing?
the racing type, yeah, because I honestly couldn't think of anything else. Like, I
Yeah,
tend to kind of try to go for a little bit of everything. So
right.
I can't think of a single genre, and I'm like, ugh, I'm not gonna watch that. Unless it's soap operas. I can't think of a single soap opera I've ever
Mm,
wanted to watch.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But have you ever watched a soap opera and actually liked it, or anything that?
We do not speak of that.
No. Okay. All right.
No, I mean, I have seen some soap operas, but this stay between us. This doesn't go in the podcast. You're cutting it out of the, editing it out.
I'm cutting it out. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cutting it out. That note to self: memory lost. If it does, then oops. I'll
I'm
cut it
sure.
out in post.
um. Oh, you know what? Yes, I can. Okay. Here's one soap opera that I watched when I was a kid. Um, and it's actually a soap opera that you guys have heard of of the American soap opera, Ugly Betty, right?
Yeah.
That a
That's
soap opera?
I didn't know it
I
was.
thought it was a
considered-
comedy.
I thought
so
it was.
it's a
Is it a sitcom?
so it's a comedy show, and that's actually based on a soap from
Oh,
Venezuela.
I
Yeah.
see.
That actually
I see what
follows
you mean.
the similar plot line. Pretty much the exact same plot line where you have this woman who's who's just supposed to be ugly, who over the course of the um over the course of the whole story just becomes uh she doesn't just become beautiful because she never really becomes like this like stunning beauty, but she's meant to be like the protagonist and the hero of the whole thing.
Mm.
And I mean, you guys are probably unfamiliar with this, but I think about most soap like Mexican soap operas and like Hispanic soap operas in general is that they're all about like the whole drama, like drama of like rich people and gorgeous people and stuff. They're
Yeah,
always like,
I mean that's all soap operas.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But this was like one of the very first and probably one of the most unique like soaps because it was like literally a comedy.
Right.
Yeah, like there was nothing like it like before, and there was
Mm.
and there were a bunch of copycatters after, but there was nothing anything that was like ever exactly like that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, that is an anomaly because I mean, soap operas are known for taking themselves way too seriously, even though the writing and acting is notoriously bad.
And oh my god, that one of the gist of that particular soap is that one of the big executives wants to get together with this woman with the ugly girl for for financial reasons. And I think it has like the most like the funniest, most uncomfortable kiss scene ever. Like he's just like trying to kiss her, but he's like making like the most like cringy faces possible.
Mm.
He's just like regretting and and regretting kissing this person, but he has to.
Oh man, that's
But yeah, there's that.
so sad.
Yeah, so sad. Guess you just had to be there to watch it. Sorry.
I think I haven't
I'm-
had a
I'm
chance to
not
watch it.
I'm
I
fine.
think Brenda tried watching that, but
Oh, yeah?
yeah, I don't know. I have to double check with her on that if she's watched the whole thing. She and also like the didn't like when it got localized to the U.S. It was done by Salma Hayek, right? Was
Oh,
was
yeah,
she
yeah,
part of the?
Yeah.
she was
What
one
turned
of
into
the-
Ugly Betty? Yeah.
Right, right.
I never watched that, so I can't really.
It's funny because America Ferrera in real life is actually really hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, makeup can do that,
Yeah.
or not makeup. I don't know.
Oh yeah, like the
Lighting.
original-
I understand. I'm just saying, like the irony of a hot actress playing it, like the whole like crux of the
Hollywood,
show
basically.
being an ugly like chick, but she's like super hot in real life.
I mean, it just
Look at her, she's so ugly, haha. Oh no, she took off her glasses. She's hot now. Ah.
Right.
Yep.
I guess we're not really on the position of like commenting on that, but it just really goes to show like the priorities of like of how women are viewed in society, like that it's just
Sure.
the biggest deal if that woman is is attractive or not.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep. Nothing
Well, it's not a
gets
question
more-
of fact. It's just about, hey, who needs to be taken down a peg? Look for that one flaw and just exploit it like it's someo's bullet hole and just stick your finger in there.
Mm.
I know the wording of that is questionable, but that's how I play. Deal with it.
I mean, we were talking about buttons being the genitals for dolls, so we pretty much have crossed the line already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this is supposed to be a family podcast. Fuck.
Family-friendly podcast.
Fuck shit. Now we ruined it.
Ah, damn. Gosh darn. I'm gonna have to censor these things. Darn it. The algorithm will chase us. For sure.
Oh, no.
Like they care about our lonely little channel.
I know. My mom is
Maybe
gonna stop
in the
listening to
next
this now.
2 decades, they'll cancel culture will find us. See, they said it before. Now we'll take them down.
And no Goshen. That'll be a cancelable phrase in 20 years. Look out for it.
They were questioning the sexuality of trolls. Cancel them.
All right, I'll go. I'll just skim through mine. I mean, I had a couple, but I guess I'll just focus on the one that I'm.
Oh, go for
The
it.
one that I don't really. I don't. I'm.
Feel free. Be
One of
free,
those
Apollo.
things
This is
where
your podcast.
I'm not. I don't really have like too many guilty pleasure things in pop culture. Like even if something's bad, I'm okay with like saying I like it. But this one I'm a little ashamed of, just because it's something that's so inherently terrible. Like it's a really bad piece of entertainment to begin with, and that is the real world reality show, The Real World.
Oh,
And
shit.
I used to be. I think you remember, Sean, when I
Long
first
time ago.
moved back to California and I was living with you and your family. I used to watch that show and those stupid challenges like all the time. And the thing is, I knew they were dumb. Like there's no way you can watch those shows and not realize how stupid they are. But like there was something about it that was just fun to watch for me. Like seeing for 3 months these total strangers in a house like just living together, and eventually they get along and stuff. The show eventually, quote unquote, fell apart when they just stopped. The producers stopped caring about making the people get along, and they just put them in a house together. Because like the whole thing about that show is like they intentionally got people that they knew would hate each other. Like the whole point was like to get people who were naturally confrontational with one another and put them in an enclosed space for a long amount of time and just see what happened. And I guess that was kind of the fun of it, because there's just so many stupid like drunken escapades that sort of came about because these people just should never be together. But yeah, I mean, I guess the show again sort of fell apart when they had a new. I guess it was starting to get stale or whatever, and they had a new twist where instead of having 7 people in a house, they made the bold decision to have 8 people in the house instead, and then to not make them, because they were supposed to not only live together but like work together, like so like be in one job, and like everyone has to work together, and that's usually how they would like end up getting along, because they were all doing something like that they hated, but they were doing it together. And then when they stopped that, no one had to really like each other anymore. So it just like it would start with like, okay, everybody arrives at the house and they don't really like each other, and this person doesn't like this person, and then this person got drunk and fucked 5 people in the club. but then like 3 months later, if no one has to like get along, they end it by like still hating each other. So like there's no progress at all in the show.
Oh my god, I just realized that's like matchmaking, but what if you had to stay together with that same stupid team
Exactly.
for like months and months?
Yes, it's like one of those old dating shows where like you would like blind date or something, where you would like they would like these 2
Fuck, I
random
used to
people.
love blind date. What the fuck is
Yeah, that's another one that was terrible, but you love it, right? Or it's just like these 2 people who have no business being together, are just thrown together, and like it's such a you like to see the sort of garbage fire that is that relationship, and that's what the real world was, and those challenges as well. They would do like real world road rules challenges where they would like the cast members from respective series would like get together on a beach and do these stupid like physical like Ninja Warrior. Well, they're not Ninja Warrior esque, but they're kind of in that sort of American Gladiator esque like fucking dumb challenges. And
Yeah, it was
eventually,
like Survivor.
yeah, it was like a really even shittier version of Survivor, basically. And yeah, but eventually, it just got too predictable to the point where like the challenges were just like it was just like the same people just basically forming an alliance and just dominating the challenges, and it just got too boring. And then with real world, it was just I don't know. I guess I just snapped out of it eventually, and it wasn't. It was just stupid. It wasn't dumb fun anymore. It was just dumb, and it wasn't like yeah. I guess apparently the show got canceled, and then I think revived, and then I think canceled again. So I'm clearly not the only one who like fell out of like trashy love with that show. So yeah.
I mean, that show was kind of the original reality TV show.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and like even though that show is dumb and it got like too dumb to even watch, there are some. I think like the first season I watched was like Real World San Diego, and then the one before that was like Real World Vegas. No, those even though they're still dumb, those are legitimately like good seasons of like television or of, like shitty reality television. Like they're genuinely entertaining, and you actually sort of feel for the people by the time they've all like the experience is done and they're moving out, but they sort of form these lifelong bonds with each other. So yeah, it's
yeah, when it started, it was definitely like genuine, but then like when once the people realized how much of a trend and a clickbait kind of situation is, I mean, it's kind of like what drove MTV to not be MTV anymore. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then like they just kept on going. It's kind of like the burnout of like YouTube and algorithm chasing, where like you go too far to make the content that just gets the most clicks and the most watches.
Right, you sacrifice the quality just to appeal to the masses.
And that was definitely MTV, and then World started that, and then different versions of that came out where it's a reality show. People realize that people want to like see and follow genuine people, which is I think why streamers and YouTubers are becoming like taking over in terms of
for sure. It's about the personality over the big outlet is what a lot of people are drawn to these days.
And even if it isn't that the people actually like the personality, some people just like to see the drama that may or may not come from it, or even incite it, even, or just love to hate the people. Because there's
a lot of the drama was pretty much just manufactured,
Oh yeah.
Well, like definitely. Well, much later, you know what I mean? Like when it became a trend.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's what I was saying about Real World is that like the drama, it was manufactured, but like a lot of times it was like that was the point. Like they brought these people together specifically because they knew they wouldn't get along. So like there was always then I think that was part of sort of the magic of that sort of old school Real World is that they brought these people that like are meant like they would hate each other in every situation, but then when they actually end up getting along through all of that, like I think there's something there that's appealing. And then so when you take that away, when you take that the element away where that forces them to get along, it's not worth watching anymore.
Right. There's no like sense of resolve, or like there's growth where you follow the person.
Yeah.
Or people.
Yeah, but plus there's always the question of just how much of that was, scripted. How much of like their relationships and whoever was winning or whoever's remained, was kind of a scripted just to like create more drama.
Yeah, could be. I don't know.
You don't know, You don't.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, you don't even know if it's maybe like something generated by the people that are there in the first place. Like some people are just like they know what the audience wants, and they'll force it themselves without the without the use of the showrunner to fabricate the situation.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's people who've been on Real World that have made careers from Real World. Like, they've become actors, or they've become, like, The Miz. Like, he became a wrestler because he was on Real World, and he knew how to, like, draw a crowd and be this, like, big, obnoxious, but, like, really good at physical challenges guy. Like, that, and he's, like, a famous wrestler now. Like, there are people who've literally made careers from it.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
You had something else in mind, didn't you, Apollo? Other than the Real World?
Yeah, but I'll just stick with that. I think that's sort of the best example.
You were like, I'm ashamed enough, okay? I don't want to continue.
Well, the other ones I'm not really ashamed of, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. But I think that's sort of the best example and the thing I have the most to talk about, I guess, for that.
I mean, whoever hasn't watched a season of Survivor, cast the first two.
I mean, I haven't watched Survivor in a long time, but I actually, I think that's a pretty well-made reality show. Like, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not like high-quality television or anything, but like, in terms of reality shows, like, I mean, there's a few. There's like, I mean, Bear Grylls is like actually a personal hero of mine. Like, I've read his autobiography, and I think everybody knows me knows that I love like Man vs. Wild.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show, and that's technically a reality show as well. So I mean, there are some gems here and there.
I was gonna say, I mean, you're a little too much of a fan. We really wish you stopped drinking your own pee.
Hey man, you gotta survive. Harsh times.
No, everything is a survival situation. Okay?
It's like the Office, right? Where Survivor Man with Michael in the woods, right? Sometimes you just gotta manufacture the situation for the content.
You go to a date and I'm like, I'm in a survival situation. Oh, what's that lemonade you're drinking? Let me have some. Wait, no.
Gross. Actually, one like. I wouldn't say it's like reality show necessarily, but like those contests and stuff like that, those are fun to watch. Like me and Brenda, we will watch Face Off and stuff like that. That was fun to see. People competing to. Well, they're also.
Oh, is that where they made like the masks and like the prosthetic stuff on Sci-Fi Channel? Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that was really cool to see, and then like. Some characters, like, they were living together, but they didn't. Actually, now that I think about it, they didn't have much of a drama-esque to it. Like, they didn't.
I mean, the only thing I can think of
go into that.
It's the movie with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it really did came.
I mean, yeah, that's why they named it that.
Named it, yeah.
They would bring people in.
Because literally, they're making masks and taking, putting those faces on.
So they kind of live each other's lives? Is that what?
Oh no!
No, it's not like the movie.
No, it's not like the movie at all.
It's just literally just making the mask and then having a contest about like whose art is better.
Yeah, exactly. It's prosthetic makeup. Yeah, and masks like that. So.
Just imagine a whole family trying to pretend. We know it's not
We're
John.
We're switch lives.
We know it's not John, but honestly, he's so much nicer. And he's way better in bed.
God, that's like that Dave Chappelle. Remember that?
Oh, the wife swap one.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That's so hilarious. Fucking hilarious.
Wait, no, there's a show. There was a TV show like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a parody of that show. Yeah. That sketch was a parody of that.
So good. Yeah, I think, and then Brenda sometimes would watch those shows where like the contests where they're doing like cake stuff,
Right.
Yeah, I think that's as far as I would say reality shows I would watch. I don't think I've really watched a reality show like consistently to say that I watched it.
You're not a big Housewives of
Atlanta,
yeah.
Miami, or God, they have so many.
Whoa, what is that? That's a show?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
very popular franchise.
Oh,
There's one for like every city.
is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. What about the
just wanted-
Kardashians? How about that? I know about
Oh my
Kardashians.
god. I have luckily never watched an episode of that show.
I know of it. I don't know
I
any of the
definitely
episodes.
I definitely had a girlfriend who used to watch it. I would just exit the the room every time she was watching. I'm like, oh no, you're on your own on that. Stay with me. Nope, I'm better than this.
Oh man. Survivor, I think, yeah, I definitely watched a couple of those. I think, but yeah, Werewolf. I think I did watch that. Back in the day, like because it was MTV.
Right.
Music television.
Right.
Is that still on? Does MTV still exist?
Yeah, it exists. I haven't watched it in such a long time though.
I don't know what it's like right now.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on there.
Guess for those people who still watch a lot of cable, right? They still know that
I mean,
exists.
they have a streaming app. But yeah.
Let's see. It seems that they're talking about the VMAs. You guys remember the VMAs? I don't remember. I think
Yeah.
the last time I saw the VMAs was back in 2002 or 3.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I didn't really keep up with like those awards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I liked
I
it.
watched a couple VMAs like back in like the mid to late aughts, and then I used to watch like the Oscars and like the the Emmys
Or-
like every year, but I don't even watch that stuff anymore.
They used to have movie awards. Do they still have those? Does anybody know?
No.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Well, what do you mean movie awards? Like MTV have movie
MTV
awards?
movie
Or...
awards. Yeah.
Yeah,
MTV
I'm
had
pretty
movie
sure. I'm pretty sure they still have them.
Because I clearly remember, Tobey Maguire, won Best Kiss. in
Oh yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
We all watched Tropic Thunder.
Good movie. I like that movie.
Fucking classic. I
Hilarious.
love it how they're like Lazarus, whatever his name
What
was.
happened to the
Winner
cancel
of
culture on
seven
on-
Academy Awards.
I remember watching. I remember reading this post about something about hilarious how some people are making fun of making reference to Tropic Thunder and the fact
Robert
that
Downey Jr.
Yes.
should be canceled because he was on
Mhm.
Tropic. That was the point of the fucking character. Did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
not
I
see the
love
damn
that.
movie?
Yeah, I love that somebody respond that somebody is all like that was the point of the joke. That's the joke. You don't understand. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, I mean that's just going along with like, because I know a lot of television shows like there was even like an episode of like 30 Rock with like blackface and stuff. Don't get me wrong, the episode is fucking funny, but like it, yeah, it's just people are offended by it now apparently, which is that's fine. I totally get it. And so I think they just took that episode out of the rotation for like on streaming services and stuff.
Yeah, they did the same thing with the Community. One of the
Yeah.
episodes. Yeah. I'm like it depends on the context. I think.
I mean, I get it. Like it is.
I'm not-
It is offensive.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I get it. Like
Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't. Personally, like I understand. I get like the joke and I get the comedy, so it doesn't really bother me. But I totally understand. Like if you're
Yeah.
offended by it, 100%.
I think also one of the streaming services, I forget which one, I think maybe Hulu, did a good way of one of the thing was Gone with the Wind. Well,
Oh yeah.
having the
took it-
disclaimer. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
way to
that was
see
a
why.
good way to go around it. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like it's
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way.
it's the
Honestly.
best way. Yeah, like it's kind of bad to just erase it, because then
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Warner Brothers cartoons did that too, where they had a disclaimer saying like, "Look, this was a product for its time, and if we
Right.
just ignore it, it's kind of like saying it never happened. If we don't,
Right.
do
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that. It's the definitely the right thing to do.
Yeah.
That being said, we're probably never gonna see Disney bringing back Song of the South.
Oh, such a shame.
Uh, most people don't even know what that Splash Mountain is based on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're changing Splash Mountain to
I
something
see.
else. Yeah. I forget what it was. I think. Oh, they're changing it to something about Princess, Princess, Princess Frog. What was it? What was that?
Princess and the Frog.
Yeah. That one. It's
Yeah.
gonna be along those themes.
That was
Oh.
their last 2D animated movie,
That was just all 2D.
and it was kind of
Well,
a failure. Like,
technically,
it didn't really
Winnie
bring.
the Pooh was their last 2D animated movie, but Princess and the Frog was a 2D animated Disney movie, wasn't an existing IP.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was definitely their last like big project as far as like 2D films go. Like, it was supposed to be their their throwback to, like, Beauty and the Beast and like their big
Right.
Disney
They-
presence.
Right.
They have all sorts of veterans from like previous movies too, so it makes sense that they wanted to do things right. It did
Yeah.
mildly okay, but it didn't do well enough in some people's eyes,
Yeah.
coming from
just-
the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
And
It
I
just
guess
didn't
they
make
just
them enough
figured,
money.
okay, they just want the computer animation now.
And to be fair, their next forays into, like, that 3D realm, like, really did work out. Like, Tangled is definitely one of their best movies in 3D.
And then they
It
have
did surprisingly
Moana.
well, but it was no small feat in terms of technical prowess, because for starters, Disney didn't have a track record of having some very good CG. Pixar was the one who did the heavy lifting. So it's not that Disney made bad movies in 3D. It's just that they weren't stellar hits. So you had shit like Dinosaur, and you had like, which I'm pretty sure is a fine movie. I
Chicken
didn't watch
Little.
it, but it didn't do well in the box office, or it didn't perform those Pixar numbers.
Mhm.
Chicken Little, and you have Meet the Robinsons. Again, Robinsons, I'm pretty sure is a pretty good movie. I want to see it start to finish. It's just it didn't do well in the box office as well as a Pixar movie. That's just the point I'm making. Is like, people see Pixar, they know what they're expecting. They
Right.
want something that makes them laugh and think and all that shit. But it's Disney. It's like, okay, you may have the style, but you don't necessarily have the substance. At least Disney was playing in their wheelhouse with Tangled and later Frozen, because it's like, we can have the Disney princess movie in 3D, and that's really well. They did a lot of shit. They did a lot of work on it, but generally speaking, Tangled was their best bet at doing an in-house Disney film because it was Disney princess related. So yeah. Not the only reason, but that is the reason how I'm observing it.
Right.
Yeah, it was an interesting experiment for them that I think really paid off. They I like the fact that they like hit just the right combination between the 2D style brought into 3D. Like, it really does look like that type of style. They just well implemented into the CG realm.
Yeah.
But they also kind of try to market it as a Pixar movie. Like, instead of being called, the princess of something, it's called Tangled. The way that the most Pixar movies are named after a concept.
Yeah, the title is it on the nose.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
It's no longer Beauty and the Beast, Princess and the
Right.
Frog. It's more like, oh, she doesn't. Her hair is all tangled.
and the
doesn't brush
story's
very
tangled
often.
too.
You thought we would call her Rapunzel, but it's not based on Rapunzel, you see, because they didn't trade the daughter for free vegetables. So the king and queen aren't dicks.
Hey, wait, is that what happens in the actual movie?
That happens in some versions of Rapunzel, where it's like, yeah, the wife gets pregnant and then she starts wanting to eat a lot of vegetables, and the only person growing vegetables in the garden is this evil witch, and they're like, let's go steal some of the vegetables from the witch, because who the fuck cares about the witch's feelings? And
you wonder what they would do for bacon.
Just, man, I'm sure they have plenty of bacon. They just didn't have it. They just didn't have enough greens.
I propose a twisted version of it, and then they go kill, what was that little, like, that pig in Winnie the Pooh?
Piglet.
They go and murder Piglet, and then now, like, now they're on the bad side of Winnie the Pooh and his team. Now they have to sacrifice their daughter to them. They developed some sort of curse.
I say, I shan't rest until the blood on their... They have Piglet's blood on their hands. I'm sorry, I can't complete that statement. I'm just...
all right. Is that... So we talked about all that.
I think we talked about all of our
right?
guilty pleasures at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's plenty, but we're not guilty about them.
We put all our cards on the table there. All our cards on the table. Now judge us. Judge us deeply in the comments below.
Thanks,
All right.
Mom.
If that's it, then yeah, we'll end our recording.
Okay. Oof. Wow. Yeah,
Bada
I guess
boom.
We talked. I guess we talked about it.
Talked about a lot of things.
A lot of
Alrighty.
things. Oh, wow.
See y'all next time.
Hey, yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good weekend, or week, or day.